you've been a bad boy.
What?
Time I teach you some discipline.
Discipline?
Welcome back, everybody. It's the guys from the We Not Smart podcast page here in the house.
Live. Straight out of Stellenbosch.
Oh, we're not from Cape Town anymore.
Nah, bro, we going ghetto now. We going Stellenbosch.
Alright then.
I heard you mention something about discipline.
Yeah, man, you know, we wanted to continue from the last podcast about the money. You know, how to introduce money to your kids, what's the correct way. And we're still gonna go on with that. And then we had a thought, you know, that came up. And we said, okay, you actually said that, yeah, COVID hit everybody so hard. Not everybody, but most people so hard. And people had to budget and change the way they handle money. And you asked me the question, so what comes first, or what's more important? The budget, to do a new budget for the COVID times, or discipline? You know, because you need to change now the way you do things, you need the discipline to change things. So which one do you do first? The budget? Or if you don't have discipline, do you get the discipline first? And I was like, man, how are you gonna even make the budget? How are you even gonna keep to the budget if you don't have the discipline?
So basically we're discussing now discipline, budgeting. What do you get? My thing is this.
We're talking about step one, discipline.
Step one, discipline. And then step two is trying to budget.
The budget is the easy part, alright? The budget is the easy part.
Okay, anybody can budget. But just remember,
they teach us budget at high school.
But just remember, after the budget, then there's another war.
Yes, now you gotta
there's
keep
another
budget.
Battle that you need to fight.
Yeah, you gotta keep to the budget, and that's where the discipline comes in.
All right.
So there's no point in making a plan if you can't keep to the plan.
All right. Let's start with discipline. Where does it start?
Well, guess if I were to just think, top of my head, discipline can come from home, from your parents. You know, they try and put some discipline into you, and that can be like the chores in the house. You know, we have to do these chores on these times. All right, that's the quickest thing I can think of as starting work. On school, you have to hand in your homework, your assignments on this time. Right? You have to keep tidy, you're respectful, and all that on school discipline. All right. Sports, and sports is a nice way to introduce discipline into kids, because the sport has an element of I want to improve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're a kid, you're gonna put the discipline on yourself.
Okay.
Because you want the result, the improvement to do better in the sport, right? So you're going to start disciplining yourself be harder on yourself, be more disciplined by yourself, So sport is a nice avenue for that. And of course, after that, you can say, well, there's military, there's work, maybe the police services and that stuff. Even doctors, they have to do this in a certain way, follow policies and protocols. So there's many ways, but there's a lot of people that never go through that. A lot, So what do they do?
I've noticed when we were still playing basketball, right? I've noticed from what's it now? Standard 6 or grade 8.
I don't talk grades, man. I'm an 80s kid. I was born in the 80s.
But
talk standards.
I remember when I started, right? It took me 3 years just to shoot nothing but net. It took me literally 3 years, and after 3 years, when I finally could stand anyway on that basketball field, that feeling was amazing. Knowing that,
Yeah,
look
because
here,
because you put
it
the
happened.
work in. You put
Yeah,
the work
I've
in.
been putting, and I'm putting a lot of
Put in
time
the
in.
work in, right?
I put in the work in. It was hard at
You know,
first.
for me it was more what I could say what the sport element did to me to put some discipline into me. And it's the same thing with basketball, but it wasn't the shooting or the defending or the passing or anything. It was more making faults, unforced errors or forced errors even, you know.
Okay.
Double dribble.
But I made that errors. We made that errors.
Yes, but double dribble,
Double dribble was one.
traveling.
Traveling. That's the
Right.
two most things that.
Right? Man, double double and traveling. Now in the beginning, you don't know all the rules, and we basically during break times or after school, we would normally keep with street rules, right? Just the most basic
Yeah.
rules to play the game, right? So
Okay.
double dribble traveling was in there.
And but the thing is we never got the discipline from the beginning to
Yeah,
not double
but-
dribble, to
but-
not dribble.
Yeah, but yes, where it come in for me. In the beginning, I was making these faults, right? And man, how we're a bunch of boys playing, and when in a sport, if you fucked up or if you fall, boys are gonna look at you, they're gonna laugh, they're gonna point, you're gonna feel like
So
shit.
you just get up and play the game,
Right,
even though it doesn't
yeah.
matter how hurt you are. You
Yeah.
just stand up.
But here's
and
the
go
thing,
on.
right? Here's the thing.
All right.
Now that feeling of embarrassment when you
Okay.
make that fault, right? You're like, man, I don't want to make this fault again. What do I have to do? What do I have to do?
All right.
So you play more games and you really focus, to not make those faults, those faults. Until I think final year of basketball, I maybe made one of those faults, and I think that was for traveling. I got just a little bit too eager. One traveling in a year. One double dribble didn't even happen anymore.
My traveling was at
It didn't even
Pittsburgh
happen.
when we were playing one night at the gym, and we were playing basketball upstairs. Because they were the only ones later on that had basically a basketball place that we can play, pitch where we can play, and it was I did pick up some discipline.
Now you see the reason why I would say discipline was in there, because I forced myself. Man, you can't make these mistakes anymore. You gotta work at it. You gotta keep focusing. That's a component of discipline as well. You see, because you have, when you play that game, to not make those unforced errors, it requires discipline.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that puts discipline in. Then you start not making those mistakes. Right.
So discipline is time that I can hear from you.
What I'm basically saying is discipline.
If you take it as sport,
It is something, right? Where the best way I could say is the best way to achieve it, right, is to see a reward at the end. That's the reward.
but you need time
You
included with
you
it.
need time, because you have to work at it, and you have to be hard on yourself,
Right.
and you have to keep on it. You can't lose focus.
That was the main thing. The main thing there with playing also is that you knew that every day you have to play.
Yes,
If you're not gonna play every day,
you're gonna slack,
you're gonna slack.
and somebody
And that
else is
slack-
gonna take your spot.
Take your spot, and not only take your spot means you're gonna forget what you've learned the day before.
And remember, I remember this when me and you started, right? The seniors, the guys 1 year above us, right? They were much better at the game because
Yeah, they were much
started.
better. Yeah,
Right? They had much more flashier shots.
yeah, because they were
Yes.
playing longer than us.
Yes, but we wanted to beat them.
Yes, yes.
How long
Did it take?
how much more did we practice than them?
We had to actually put in more energy, sweat, tears
Yeah.
to just get to their level
Yes.
at a sorted time.
At a short time because we had to beat them before they leave school, right?
Right? That's correct.
Right? And at the end, we beat them.
Right?
They asked for a rematch, we beat them again.
But that only came with actually putting in the hours, putting in the
Yeah.
seeing the reward at the end of the day.
Because
Shooting nothing but net.
we saw the reward.
Ju-
And the reward was worth it.
The only that I can,
So now the question is, I have the reward,
right? What do I do with it?
alright? I have to put in the work,
Right?
alright?
So-
Let's say the reward step 5.
Mm-hmm.
When you reach step 5, get the reward,
Mm-hmm.
alright? You acknowledge at step 1, you put in the work
Mm-hmm.
to get the reward. So from step 1, 2, 3, 4, that is all the work and the time you need to put in. Now, that part, the time and the willingness, you need to get up in the morning, force yourself out of bed. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to. As an example, this week, a lot of rain, a lot of family issues and stuff
There
like
wasn't
that.
a lot of rain this week.
Just the weather was crap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. In the morning when I stand up, it's like I
There
don't
was
wanna,
rain 2 days ago, there you go.
I feel like I don't
Right?
want to go. I don't want to.
Weather is crap, it is cold.
Right?
Right? I have to do some research. Alright? And in the day, I'm not having a lot of time. My 3-year-old to 6 is the whole week at home. And when she wakes up around 8 normally, it's daddy. All day until night. Right? If I wanna go on the and do some research on some stuff, I don't have time. Because she's gonna be on me and then I can't do it properly. So this morning it was cold. Right? And I said, I'm gonna get up early. Around 5ish, I was up. Right? I was up and I said, okay, I got 3 hours now. Alright, until she wakes up. Alright, so I forced myself, it was cold, I didn't want to get up, I forced myself out of bed, put on the PC, starts researching. 8 o'clock, she's awake, daddy.
But you know, 5 o'clock you stand up. Obviously, it takes you 10 minutes or whatever just to
Yeah,
get to bed, right?
I
And
go
then
to the
cup of
toilet, the coffee, go.
When
Okay,
you
but
start, then you basically
that's like
sit
10
in-
minutes, it's like 10 minutes, right? That's just 10 minutes. So, yeah. But that's why I say, man, and you know that get yourself out of bed part. You know how many people strike, or that get out of yourself out of bed, pick up the phone, make that call to that person or company or whatever, you know. Go to the place and drop your CV, send that email, update that CV.
So basically,
all
what you
that
said- what-
just to start, you know. How do you get that drive to start?
So basically, I'm focusing on getting the drive, right? And
Because
then I'm focusing
that
on
is the
seeing,
problem.
putting in, getting it, just starting. Try to see a reward,
Yeah,
and basically just go for it.
yeah. And what I would say is what I used to do if I had a goal that I really wanted to do. No, this thing has to happen. I would make a list. By this day, by this time, I need to do this. By this day, by this time, I need to do this. This needs to be ticked off. Right? And I would just go. This is the best thing that I can use to push myself. You know, to complete those tasks to get to the end goal. This is what works for me. Is to make a list and say by that time, that day. So even if you are on a Wednesday and it's 2 p.m. and you're like, okay, I made on my list 2 p.m. I have to go make this call to this person. Now you could have made that call by 10 a.m. Alright? 10 a.m. You know, you could make that call, but you can't, man. You know, you can't get yourself, can't pull yourself up and do it. Now, because you put it on the paper, right? It's like, I have to do it. It's there.
It speaks to you.
right?
I always say black and white speaks to you.
Something like this.
Yeah, black and white speaks to you. Piece of paper and a pen always speaks to you back.
Yeah, so it's like, hey bro, it's there. You know, it's there. You have to do it. There's no about this. That's the last time. Go. So at 2 p.m. I go make the call. You know, that's what works for me.
Okay. I've noticed this, that before you even write down your goals and what you want to achieve, I've noticed that if you first work with what is keeping you behind, if you can write that down on a piece of paper, man, what I've noticed is that as soon as you start writing down your problems and you read it, because the thing is this, you can't edit on a piece of paper, but you can edit on a computer or on your phone.
If you have a pencil,
but the thing is this, you still need to, you can't, like if you use it, if you're gonna use a pen, you need Tipp-Ex. Take it out. If you use a pencil, you need an eraser. But what if you just draw a line through it and you keep it there? You can't edit it. It's still on a piece of paper. Because you remember now, on your computer, you can erase it and you can go on typing, right? So what this one guy did was, he had some issues and he sent a letter through, and the guy actually read it and it was very confusing, because he told the guy, look here, I don't know how to help you because I don't understand, because everything is broadband. So the guy replied with a letter stating, look here, just tell me what is the issues. And the guy replied back stating that, look, no need, I figured it out. And the reason why I figured it out is because he saw what he first wrote it on a piece of paper, and he dealt with it. Because he couldn't see, okay, cool, this problem I need to do this problem I need to work out that way. And I think that is part of the discipline first, before you can actually put your mind on that prize that you want. So I think it starts there. It's the same thing with budgeting. You're gonna look at, okay, cool, this is rent this month, this is water, that's electricity, this is food, this is car payments, this is petrol, insurance, investments. So basically, the thing is, discipline yourself basically to first understand what you're dealing with, and then you can put a step forward. Right or wrong, I don't know.
No, what you're saying is correct. I would just add, the biggest problem, and I've had this discussion with a colleague of mine, an ex-colleague of mine, and we sat together, and just during work, just as we're working, just chatting about life and like that. And I asked her, she had a task to do, right? During the job, I give everybody a certain task, and this is the time, right? And she has a task, she has to hand in a report. There's a certain amount of reports that she has to do.
Alright, and the time frame on it.
There's a time frame on it,
okay.
Right? And she can do the report.
But it's going to take a time.
Right? She can do the report. To do the report is not a big deal. Alright? And I told her, man, I know why these reports are not getting done. And I'm not like talking hard to her, right? And I'm like, it's because I know you can do the reports, because I have all the old reports you have done in the time you handed them in and all that. Right? So I know you can do the reports, and you can do them good and bad. But I know why these reports are taking long to come in. Right? It's because you can't get yourself to start. And I asked, and I told her, there's a name for this, and she's very educated.
Alright.
She's studied,
one of the higher achievers.
Yeah, she studied at the university in the States.
Okay.
And then went back home to work. right? So she's very educated, she's very good at what she does. And I tell her, yeah, you know there's a word for this, right? And then she asked me what, and I said, procrastinating. And then she smiled and laughed and said, yes, it's just so difficult. You know, you can't get that first step. First step is always the hardest.
Always the hardest.
Right?
Always the hardest.
That first step is always the hardest. Now, I would say, man, and this is the biggest problem everybody sits with, is the first step.
Right.
How to, once you get the ball rolling, momentum will start. Yup, go, let it go.
Okay.
So here's a tip for that first step, right? So what I would do, right, when there's a time, right, the best time during the work, right, when we're sitting there in the desert, in a container, the best time, there is free time for whoever's doing that report. If she's doing that report, I know she's got a couple of hours free now. Right? I would make her the strongest cappuccino I can, but I will make it so tasty.
Does she?
Right? She doesn't taste the high caffeine amount.
She just tastes sweet.
So she gets, when I give that to her, her brain gets so hyper. She's ready to do anything. She's ready to do anything. Okay, you do the report now. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm good. And she starts, Sometimes it requires a little jolt, a little high energy, something needs to happen, right? Maybe you need to get a nice coffee. Maybe you need to get a nice cake. Maybe you need one of those energy boosters that's everywhere in the shelves. I'm not gonna take it all the way through for that first step. Get your mind, especially your mind. Your body can be tired. If you get your mind in that higher state, I'm ready to tackle whatever. I'm good for it. Let it come. I'm ready for the challenge. Get yourself to that higher state. Boom. You're gonna make the first step.
You remember at school when you were not doing your work, or you're not. The teacher says, okay, cool, you up to nothing. They always will let you come sit in front if you were sitting at the back. Because I think when you go sit in the front,
you have to now work.
You have to now work.
Right? You see, so you need something to push you.
You need something to push you. But what is actually pushing you at home?
For me at home, man. For me, I got motivations. One thing I learned very early in life is that I have to motivate myself.
Do you think that
this I learned this so early in life, I can't put my finger. I know I learned it early because I'm a very conscious person.
Right.
The decisions I make them very consciously. Right. If I say I need to do that, I will say words to myself in my head.
Okay.
Right. So somewhere it was in my teen years when I was in high school, something must have happened, or I saw something, and I made a decision there, man. Paige, you gotta motivate yourself, because maybe it was because I saw around me nobody's gonna motivate me, or there's not a lot around me to motivate me. If I wanna get to a better place in life, from where my parents are or my peers are, I have to do it by myself. Alright. So probably from that, it was like, man, you gotta motivate yourself, And then of course, something that helped a lot of that was good old Dragon Ball Z. Man, if you don't train by yourself under gravity,
you're not gonna achieve it.
How are you going to beat Vegeta or Frieza or that shit if you don't push yourself?
I always told myself that.
You have to push. Well, I think that's the biggest thing of all the crappy stuff that Dragon Ball teach people. Dragon Ball taught people, man, you gotta push yourself, and I don't think people even know that Dragon Ball taught them that.
Because you know Super Saiyan 4.
If you want to get the
Saiyan 4, then you need
you gotta put it in.
And Goku really pushed himself.
You gotta put it in.
But the thing for me was, I always told myself that I want to be a jack of all trades.
Master of none.
Master of none. But I think jack of all trades doesn't mean master of none. Because if you think about this, right? Say for example, my father knows. He knows a plumber, he knows an electrician, he knows a carpenter, and okay, let's just stick with it, all right? So now, I'll be sitting there with some cash, and I'll be going, yeah, I want to be a jack of all trades, and I've actually with two guys that actually just brought this up, and where the guy said that, but okay, so you want to be an electrician, and the guy would say like, okay, cool, you can invest in that company, but you don't need to do the electrical work yourself. So you can say, yeah, I am part of an electrical company.
Yeah,
by putting money in it.
That's probably most of the entrepreneurs, small business owners, this is what they do. They don't do the job. The owners are talking about the owners themselves.
Yeah, they don't.
But even people to do it.
But even just investing money. So your dad knows a plumber, but you know, say, look here, I want to become a shareholder. This is the money that I can put in. This is the amount of shares that I want out. So nobody told me that. Look here, if you change your mindset a little bit around, discipline yourself, change your mindset. Like we should talk the last time about what is the need.
What is the need?
What is the need? So then I could have said, look here, I got a telecom company, plumbing, electrical. I'm broad. I'm all over the show. Instead of saying, look here, I'm doing the work. Because that's where it comes in master of none. Because you don't have all the time to learn all the skills.
You can't learn everything.
You can't learn, but you can be part of everything.
No, okay, that's true, you know, and like I said, man, discipline is something. You know, when you are in school, right? When you're in that rebellious stage, you know, teachers become like, yo kids, you need to learn discipline because the world is hard outside. If you don't learn discipline now,
and you look at the teacher,
like,
look at the teacher, what are you talking about?
But here's the problem with what the teacher did. That teacher only gave us the word. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they didn't actually show you.
We understood that to not have discipline is bad.
It's bad. But we didn't.
But those are just words.
These words, we didn't see it.
We didn't see the result, what he was actually trying to tell us.
I believe in 3 laws.
You know? It's like, man, if you don't have discipline, if you don't have to discipline yourself, you're going to be undisciplined, and this can happen to you in the future, because here's an example. That would have worked a bit better.
I got these 3 laws that I think. The first one is, you're going to have to tell me about it. I'm going to have to see it. And I'm going to have to go through it myself. That's the 3 laws.
Now, that last one, I don't like. Go through it myself.
Because just remember, if we were at school and they would ask, look here, what do you want to do? What do you want to be one day? And you say, look here, I want to be a fireman. And they say, right, okay, cool. We're gonna send you out. Right? I think what's the time period that they work 12 hours?
Around, yeah.
12 hours, right?
12 or 16.
12 or 16. Just imagine it's 16. And you're like in grade 10. Or grade, was it? Just before you finish school. Right? 5 o'clock you stand up. Make example. You start working. You start cleaning. You start polishing your shoes. You start gymming. Right? You got a whole day out there on the field. Let's make it a week.
And you know, this. Here's an example. our military is not that the greatest military.
Okay,
We don't in South Africa. We don't even think about our military.
Yeah, I understand.
Right?
I think it's a waste of tax money.
You've seen a lot of examples. A lot of examples in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Kids from earlier high school that wants to join the military. They want to join the military, and their parents, their parents will send them to military camp, like a summer camp. Like during school vacation, you go to a military camp. That kid, 13 years old, 15 years old, 17 years old, is getting up in the morning at 5 or 4, starts running. He pulls up the American flag in the morning.
I see
starts running.
I see what you're getting.
He exercises.
There's no time for
He
you.
learns about firearms, maybe from his father or his uncle. They have a lot of firearms in the US, right?
You don't have time for a phone, bro.
Right? So he's
You don't have time for a phone.
getting that discipline to get that job one day, right? Now, the kid in our country, he says, "Yeah, I want to be a pilot." Is he learning any piloting attributes on a high school level? Man, I gotta keep my school uniform nice and tidy. I gotta practice my maths every day. I need to read up on aviation, on the weather, on positioning systems. Read up on that kind of stuff, and see who's hiring and like that outside. Try and make some connections. We don't do that, right? We have dreams to be what we want to be when we are in school, all right? But we don't do during the school time anything related to that thing that we wish to do after school. Alright? We expect when we finish school to then start with that. Right? To then start with that. Whereas in other countries, if the kid wants to be a mechanic during like school holidays,
but not even school. So I think in America, that's part of a class for them, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like our system is a bit different, right? The kids wants to be a mechanic. Maybe weekends you can go, for free, work at a workshop, or go help an uncle that does a private weekend, or stuff like that. Let's try to get into that rhythm, to do that, and that will add the discipline as well. I have to do this, I have to do that on time, I need to keep focus, I have to motivate, and this, you also learn self-motivation, the most important thing, because you want that goal, the prize at the end, right? You need to push yourself up in the morning from an early age, 13, 14, 15 years old, push yourself up early in the morning to do it. You need to motivate yourself to go do it because you want the prize. You can learn that from early. That's good, right? The kids are all right. The older people, let's say 28, 30s, 40s,
they settle.
What the fuck?
They settle.
They need discipline.
They settle, and I think it's a time where you settle. That's a time when the shit hits the fan. So that's the time when the shit hits the fan. So basically, focus, right, discipline. Where to start, where to end up, goal. Before you start even thinking about budgeting, right?
Yeah.
Now you have the discipline. You figure it out. Look here. The only person that you need to fight is the person in the mirror. You can't fight anyone else. To get discipline starts with you. It starts with the person in the mirror. And what I believe is, if you stand in the mirror and you say, look here, I'm that guy. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I'm going to approach. This is what I'm going to do. You can start. That's what I believe. Right? Then it comes down to the budgeting part. The goal. That's the goal. When it comes down to the budgeting part, there needs to be a goal.
No. I wouldn't say a goal. I would say there needs to be a very if you are budgeting alone, in when you are budgeting alone, or you are budgeting with
A spouse.
a spouse or a group of people, the reason
Mm-hmm.
for the budgeting,
Mm-hmm.
the reason must be very clear,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody that's contributing to that budget needs to be highly motivated on the reason for the budget. You know, it's almost like everybody's gotta, let's put it to the most extreme. We have to budget. We have to clock even, or else we die.
All right. So basically,
You know, the biggest motivation there is.
Okay, so basically we can say that basically the next podcast is gonna be basically about the 3 steps: budgeting alone, budgeting with a spouse, and budgeting in a group. Because it's I believe that the
But all three comes down to that. You know, I really believe like.
I don't think it comes down to all. Okay, the principle stays the same. Right?
If whoever is involved in a budget, right,
Mm-hmm.
if they are very clear on the reason for the budget,
Okay.
they have to be in agreement.
Okay.
They have to agree. You need to fully understand why the budget is necessary. Because only if you agree and if you are clear why the reason for the budgeting and you understand what is the backlash, or what will be, you know, what will happen if you don't adhere to the budget, if you don't keep to it, you know, what negative stuff is going to happen to you or the group. You know, that's that negative stuff that's going to happen if you don't keep to that budget. That's going to be so motivating that you keep to the budget. You see?
Alright guys, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. We need a brainstorm.
We're going to call this Discipline 1.
Discipline 1, and then we're gonna go next step, Discipline 2, because this topic is a little bit bigger than we thought. Hey man, it's way big out there.
Guys, yeah, we'll carry on this. Just a note, please put a like on the YouTube videos. Please share the YouTube video of We Not Smart podcast. Share it to your WhatsApp friends, your Facebook friends. Please say if you are listening on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever the podcast is appearing for you, please say it, please. Say and like it, and leave some comments. We appreciate it. We appreciate it very much. And yeah, and if you guys wanna join, if you wanna call in or like that, I will start putting the anchor link for the podcast down in the YouTube info and in the Spotify info. So you can put Anchor on it's Anchor. It is for that's where we also create our podcast from. And you can put Anchor, the app, on your phone. It's free, and there's a function there where you can join us for a chat. You can call in and like that. We don't have to set that up next. So thanks again for joining us. These are the guys from the We Not Smart podcast.
We out.
Yeah.